Oh my God, I'm going to say some crazy stuff today, but some of this stuff, like you guys know a lot of this stuff, what I'm saying, but I'm starting to. I'll explain in a sec. It's just been a fucking rough ass night, and I was so exhausted that I lay down on the couch to watch this cult classic. Put on this. It was a really cool, old, stupid, scary movie. And so I was laying on the couch. It was just like when I was a little kid watching this movie. It was like 6 o'clock, and I was like out. I was so tired. I watched some of it, but I don't know what happened at the end. And but all night, Stella has been up and crying and pacing and having such a bad time. And it's so sad, is because she wants to go walking every day. I mean, she's so excited to get out of the gate. And I think, for all that time, I didn't even have the awareness that she was just sitting down there longing to go out. Because when we first moved in, I did take her for some walks, and I got yanked down, and there was too many dogs out just tied up. And I was like, man, they come running, and there's no fences, and she goes running, and I get my fucking arm pulled off. I was like, fuck this. So then I would take her to the dog park and take her to the lake and stuff like that. But anyways, I didn't know she's just laying there longing as the dogs walked by, that, she's feeling cheated. And I don't know how all of a sudden one day I was just sitting there looking at her, and all of a sudden it was like I could hear it so loud and clear. That's the thing. When people when you talk about like having this psychic connection with your dog, it's not like she's sitting there talking in words in my ears. It's like an energy. It's like a transference of energy. It is like the energy around us in all states of consciousness is accelerates messaging or something. Like there's a translation that occurs. So a message will just flow into you, but you don't just hear it in words. There's something, it just will all of a sudden, it will just hit you, and you'll be like, oh, I didn't even think of that. Like, so you can, like, I have conversations. You can just sit and talk in regular conversations. That's who I talk to most of the day. Is I talk to Stella, or I talk to my guides. And even to the point I'm like, enjoy talking to the beings around, to the point sometimes it bothers me more to have a conversation, especially with people who don't know or see or understand anything. That is, those are challenging to me, to have these conversations. They're draining. And anyways, so, I enjoy my time talking to them. So you can talk to them, but when you're having these messaging things, it isn't always like that. It's just like all of a sudden it's like you just got like a little thought bubble went off in your head, and then all of a sudden it's like an epiphany. Oh, I just realized that. And then you but it is the response and stuff. Then you see like, oh, okay. But they will do it like she was showing me. Like I keep trying to tell her to show me, but I think a lot of it is me also realizing, okay, we're communicating here. You show me, I'm paying attention, because I think, there's a lot of things that she did show me and I wasn't paying attention. So, that's the connection that can develop, especially when you're just alone with the dog all the time. But anyways, so she gets so excited to go out and walk, and so she wants to go every day, even in the morning, as soon as it's light, and it's fucking cold as shit, and it's been so fucking rainy, and so I don't want to just go out and start walking in the cold ass rain in the morning. And so she'll go lay on the porch and pout until I go, okay, let's go. And so then she gets so excited, and you'd think she's going on a big old journey. No, we only go a couple houses, and it takes a while because she just grazes as we go. She loves to sniff the rocks, and I don't know, she's always tracking something. I don't know if she's tracking mice. I don't know if she's tracking some kind of other animals, or if it's just the cats. And so she's always tracking around that. And then lately especially, but she's always been a grazer. She loves to go out. I always have said she's got some like cow. She's got some hippo too. Like when she's out in the lake in the water, she acts like a hippo. So she's got all sorts of animals, I think she's been. But anyways, so we were out walking, and there's this dog, and it was like this exact timing again. And I thought, okay, so we're supposed to cross paths. And the last time we had tried to stay separate, but this time it was like, okay, well, we're going to keep crossing paths because apparently this is supposed to occur. And so, I mean, but the timing is like, there's 24 hours in a day, and when you end up in the same spot as somebody else at the same time, it's supposed to happen. So anyways, I said, hey, up there, is your dog nice? And she's like, yeah. And I said, okay, mine is too. And so they came towards the middle. Her dog, oh my gosh, what a cutie. He's like, I think he's like a year old, and he's a mix between a pit and a Rottweiler. But this dog is absolutely beautiful. The coloring and the markings, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like it. And it looks like an American Mastiff pit bull. Like they're like really kind of short and stocky and broad, and they just look a little different. They're not so like wiry or something as a normal pit bull, but anyway, and the coloring and the markings on this dog, really, really beautiful dog. And so Stella, of course, goes running out because she's always got to be that, like, I mean, that's how a guard dog is, kind of like, come at you like, bull. And that's just how she is. I don't know if all of them are, but that's how, she is. And so she always goes up, like, not aggressively. She doesn't go up growling or something, but she goes up quick, like she's leading. She's like, she's making sure it's safe for me to get any closer. And so she goes up, and the dog got so intimidated, it got really scared. And so it backed off and was trying to hide. And Stella kept trying to go around stuff. And then she just became obsessed with the little girl. I don't know if the little girl was on her period or something, but Stella was just like wanting to smell all around her stuff, because it was a little girl out walking her dog, but she's real close with the dog, but it's her dad's dog. But so Stella would not get her nose out of this girl's, front and back. She was obsessed with this little girl. It's like, I don't know what she's smelling, and the little girl looks clean. So I would assume there's got to be a cycle happening. But Stella was very interested. And so she was more interested in the little girl than the dog, but the dog was becoming, he was really scared and stuff. So they, we parted ways, and they started walking, and Stella was standing there, but then Stella she had to hurry. Usually we're walking back, and she's just like huffing and puffing, trying to get back home. It's just, we're going like 3 or 4 houses. Mastiffs are so, the whole time too, I'm like, you want to keep going? Because don't forget, you guys still walk back. They're so funny. But so she normally is huffing and puffing, trying to get back. But this time, she saw them, and so she's just pulling me like a husky pulling a thing, the Alaskan thing. And so I was, hurrying, was like, sorry, she wants to get up here to see y'all again. She's not gonna stop. So she rushes up there, gets up there, and starts doing the exact same thing. Exact same thing starts happening. So I start pulling her, like, okay, let's go. And we're almost home. And so we're walking, and I start telling the little girl, if you want to come over and bring your dog anytime to come over and play or something, come over. Stella would love to have some company. She doesn't get to be around any other dogs. And so the little girl was standing there out by her gate. She just loved Stella. She was really, a lot of girls, a lot of kids, like most people who see Stella just love her. Like, she's really, really big. And so she's intimidating, but she's just really sweet and loving. And so usually people just really love her. And so this little girl just kept standing at the gate, kept petting Stella, and just like, and so I said again, well, if you guys want to come in. And so she was like, okay, yeah, we'll come in. And so they came in, and then her dog was kind of being a little, but he's walking around, and she liked to be able to have a fence, because she said they don't have a fenced yard. And so her dog always has to be on a leash, and it only gets to go out sometimes to go on a walk. He doesn't ever get to run around. And I was like, yeah, the dogs always like to come and run around, off their leash. And so I was talking to her, I was saying, you should have like a little play date for dogs around the neighborhood. I was talking about how, like, if you noticed how they'll talk, and she said, yeah, she'll see he'll go out and he'll bark and talk to the other ones. I said, yeah, so does Stella. I said, I think they get so excited when they get to see each other and smell each other because they can hear each other. And so anyways, we're just talking about dogs and stuff like that, and the dogs were warming up to each other, and Stella's still, anytime she wants the dogs to come, but even when we go to the dog park, she doesn't want to play with them. She likes to go around and smell the little tiny ones, which they're always scared of her. But she mostly just wants to just sit around and be around me. But a lot of dogs and people always come up and interact with her. And so, but she's not like, going to go out and jump around and play. She likes to go sniff around and then, just to stay by me. So she does that every time anybody has ever brought their dog over to play. She just keeps coming and stand by me. Well, then he's a puppy, and so he was getting more rowdy and wanting to really play. And when we were talking, I already told her, Stella's old and disabled. 6 years old is old for a big dog. And so she she was like, okay, well, we'll go. And she said that they would come back later when they go on their other walk. And so I was like, okay. And so she said that would be around 4, but then she showed up, I think it was around 2:30 with her brother, because she wanted her brother to get to see Stella. And she just wanted to come in and play with Stella, but her dog was a lot more warmed up, and he's going all around, and there was a cat in the yard when he came, and he doesn't like cats, so then he just kept going and sniffing everywhere where that cat was. And Stella was already showing that she was really getting tired, but then he started doing like what King does, like pressing Stella, come up and hit her and do that little jump thing the dogs do, like, come on, come on. And she was getting mad, and she'll jump up and, like, rawr, at him, only it's a lot more aggressive, like, seeming, because she's so big and so loud. And so, but it doesn't put off dogs. I mean, most people are like, oh my God. But the dogs are like, dogs know dog language. They don't give a shit. And so the dog will keep doing it until the other one puts them in their place and says, leave me the fuck alone. But, one that wants to play will keep harassing them until they feel put in their place. And so anyways, she, but just that much interaction, she can't sleep. She is so pain. She's in so much pain. I just shoved medicine down her throat just now, so I'm hoping that she'll go to sleep for a little while. I keep telling her, because when she gets in this pain like this, she'll get up and down, up and down, up and down, and that aggravates her hips more. And so her getting up and down, and pacing, which I totally understand. When you have a place that is just aching, and you got to keep rolling over and rolling over. So I totally get it, but it's crazy. Just that much interaction. And it just was like, oh, hellacious night. Fuck, I can't even believe it. I feel so tired, even though it was from 6 to 3:30. Oh, which, by the way, yesterday, that took me 4 times to put a video on to get it to download. Every time it would go, it would flip back. It would go, it would flip back. I couldn't believe how long that took yesterday for that to upload. So I don't know, and I don't know what's going to happen with today's video either. I don't know what's going on with all these different platforms. Like, I think there's things happening, in the background too. And so, I don't know. So the day before, it seemed like the video went on super, super fast. And then I couldn't believe yesterday. And plus I had to do 4 of them. It's like, oh my God, it just kept flipping back. So I'd start another one, and then it would just keep going and flipping back. It would get all the way up, and it would say it was finished uploading, and then it has to go to the 3rd process. And I think that's processing. There's waiting, then there is uploading, and then there's processing. And the processing takes the longest. The first the 3rd process of it. So I don't even know if waiting is the first one. It seems like there's a processing one at the first. But anyways, there's the first one, it goes pretty quick. Then the uploading, it's kind of slow and tedious. Then the 3rd one, when they're accepting it or something, it's the slowest part of the whole thing. And what's even crazier is that you could get the whole thing done in an hour, and then it could get to that last part. Well, we'll say 99% on the last processing part, and it will sit like that for an hour and a half, 2 hours. So, I don't know. It's like a long line and they got to wait for each video. Like, I'm not sure how it works, but yeah, that wasn't me yesterday. That was this thing. And like, I don't know, what is, if they are messing with my algorithm or something. I think it's probably like on TikTok. At this point, I think it's some of the videos that I've done. And so anyways, that is what I want to talk about, because it has completely, it has like poked the bear in a lot of these situations. It's crazy. I cannot believe how the progressives, how they'll come at you. Like they come out hard. And I noticed that all the way back in 2020 when I was on Twitter. I mean, that was something that blew my mind, because I was a progressive. We thought we were the ones that were so it was the conservatives. They're the judgmental ones. Us progressives, we're just so progressive. We just care about everybody, even the gays, even the trans, even the drags. Oh, we just bring them all in. We're all together. We love each other, and but really, it's just a bunch of broken people that are trying to leave other people out, because there's so much judgment. And you don't realize it when you're in the group. You don't realize that how judgmental you are until you see it. You got to see it. And so I started seeing it in 2020 when I started getting attacked by my own people over and over and over. I was like, what the fuck? Then there became a point, where I was like, standing up for other people that they were attacking. Once I could see how biased that the progressives were, that that is when I was like, oh my God. I started going, and I would see attacks going on Nextdoor and on Twitter, until I got kicked off Twitter, but on Nextdoor and stuff. And then I would stand up for the people, and they would attack me. Oh, go back and watch Fox News, you Christian, you lunatic, and shit like that. I'm like, I'm none of those things, and I still see what they see, and I'm none of the things that you just said. So, explain it, dude. And they can't. No, they just they fucking the springs start just flying out of their head. Like it becomes ridiculous, like just like with Ted Royal, where it just became all he could do was just call me. He had to put a Q in every single fucking thing. He just kept making like I was some sort of a Q-spiracy person, and it was ridiculous. I was like, you're the one obsessed with it. You're mental. Like, that is the thing too, is that they don't realize how much they're showing what they're obsessed with. It's like, you're the one telling me all about this. You're the one who notices that this is where this comes from and stuff. I'm talking about the stuff I've seen. Whoever started sharing it in the beginning doesn't fucking matter. If it was the Q people in the very beginning who started, looking into all of the perversion that goes on in the fucking underworld, and that they start talking about it, and then it is spread. That's how it's supposed to work. But, as soon as you start talking about it, well, you're just crazy. It's like, no, I'm not. I've seen the fucking evidence. And if you would stop thinking everything's crazy, you would see it too. But then you talk to them and you see why. So I've had multiple conversations over the last couple days. And God, I'm so wheezy. It sounds like we have a windstorm going outside. The rain for the whatever, 4th day or something. Oh God, I'm just so burnt out. Oh, fuck, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. So, I gotta just keep talking so I don't lose my fucking mind. So anyways, so this, the conversations lately, and they come in with still guns a-blazing. Oh, you get off the Fox News, you Christian crazy conspiracy, and all that shit. It's like, I can't even tell you how many times I have been told, well, even yesterday, I'd rather my child be a drag queen than a priest. It's like, it's not up to you, dude. It's up to your child. What is wrong with these people? Like, what the fuck? I thought this was shit we broke free from in the fucking 50s, man. Like, this is mental. My child better be what I want him to be. That's why I've said these generations that are sitting here judging us, judging the boomers and stuff, because they don't understand. They didn't grow up how we grew up. They don't know anything about our lives. And then they're going to sit there and be judgmental. It's like, dude, you're about to be on the chopping block in a fucking hard ass way, because the shit you're doing is retarded. Like, I can't even fucking believe it. And, so there's all these videos, of the drag shows and stuff like that. And I want to say too, just throw this in there because, just to y'all, I've said this a bunch of times. Like, there has been a couple times where I said, be prepared. There's going to be incoming. And I think I've said it prematurely, but at this point, I would say again, be prepared for incoming flood of that energy on this channel. Is that I know, I mean, they've told me so many times that is what is going to be. That is what it is like. There's so many things I can explain more after, but from what I understand, there's going to be a flood of these people on this channel. And I don't know. And the reason I've said it every time is because I don't know what they're at. They're very, very aggressive. They're very, they have a really hard time with letting go. They're holding on so fucking tight. And so they are mean as hell. And they don't want to see things. They're very stuck. And so that's the reason I'm saying is just to advise people, if you start seeing all the comments and hateful stuff, just ignore it. Like, if you want to go in and say something, but just know that you will be in a battle that is just exhausting. It isn't even worth the trouble. It's just, these people have to sort out and figure it out for themselves. So don't feel, especially if you see people come in and start, calling me names and saying rude stuff, I'm not going to let them hurt my feelings. I mean, they say rude ass shit and they try. And, I mean, maybe my feelings will get hurt sometimes. I can't say they're never going to get hurt. But I do have to go through the process of, processing when something is said, and work myself to the place of who fucking cares? Sometimes you do have to do that. It's not like every single thing just slides off immediately. You have to, process, there's a process to releasing. And so, God, I'm so wheezy. And so the thing I'm, the saying is because the energy is coming in so hard on my TikTok. And so this morning when I was saying something, like talking to them, it was like, this is the start. It's it's the trickling it in so you can kind of prepare, so you see what's coming. And it's pretty hard. It's hard. Fuck, dude, I'm not even shitting you. I can't even believe some of these conversations. Like, these people are so freaking stuck. And they're so mean. And it is so mental how they think that they are the ones who are so open and that they are the ones who are so all-inclusive. And then they say such hateful things about certain groups of people. And they show every single time they open their mouth their own biases. And it is so crazy because they project it onto you. They say, you're doing this. You're doing this. This lady actually just told me my whole platform is just doing drag queens. Fuck. Like, why would you even, what? I don't even understand. Like, what is wrong with these people? Like, I honestly don't get, do they just live inside their head? Do they have no real, like, when I'm trying to stay grounded, like I try and stay grounded. I try and stay here all, as much as I can. And, but, I don't get, are they not at all? Every single thing that's happening is just up in here? And then they think because you're in front of them, it's coming in from you or something. Like, I don't know how this works like this. I don't, when they come in and they sit there and tell me all my videos about drag queens, like, what the fuck are you talking about? There's like 3 out of 1,000 videos. Like, what? It is mental. And the thing is when I'm saying, like, the one that has got, some people panties in a bunch is, I was downloading my videos on TikTok, and this video popped up, is this drag queen, and I don't know what, I mean, somebody came in and said, oh, is it that whatever show? That's so funny. This wasn't funny to me. Like, I'm glad that you find it entertaining for children to be like, what the fuck with these people? Goddamn fuck. Our society is so fucking sick and diseased. It's fucking mental. So it is a drag queen sitting there with these kids. And so one of them is 2 little boys. And so sitting there with these 2 little boys and talking to him. He's all dolled up. I mean, he's, real dolled up. And 2 little boys who are very uncomfortable. And so he starts talking to him. Have you ever seen a drag queen? Do you know about drag queen? Blah, blah, blah. Do you like to dress up? Do you want to dress up? You should dress up. You should do a drag queen. You should do one because it's so fun. You should be a drag queen too. Then it is, after he does those ones, then it's another couple of kids. Then there's another couple of kids. And it was like each time that it would come on, he's talking to another group of kids, telling them how fun it is to be a drag queen. It was like, for one thing, for a video to be out there, that shows that that's leaning a little hard on one direction. There shouldn't be videos out there of, so how much is this going on? And so my video was to drag queens. And I said, to the drag queens out there that are, putting pressure on kids to become drag queens, did someone do that to you? Did someone, as you were a child, did they come and put pressure on you? Like, I don't understand why you can't just let kids discover themselves. Like, why, did you need to be led? Or was it a natural progression for you? Because I don't understand how people are not seeing they are leading kids. You're not just giving parameters and boundaries and letting someone discover themselves. You are creating what you want someone to be, even opening their mouths and saying, well, I would rather my child be a drag queen than a priest. Like, okay, so what if he wants to be a truck driver instead of, a dancer? Like, what if this child is here to teach you about your own biases? What if this child is there to teach you what is inside of you that you don't want to see? Like, that's what people got to start seeing. And these people who, need to control because they, and I was thinking about this too, because, being from the progressive community, I know a lot of progressive people. Like, I'm seeing things that was mind blowing, just like to think that, that is being gender neutral to cross-dress your child. That's not gender neutral. Gender neutral is wearing clothes that don't show boy or girl leaning. To dress them as the other is a mental, that shows some sort of mental problem on the parent's side. However deep that goes, I think it has to do with this agenda of progression that is so embedded and indoctrinated that they're just not thinking clearly. that they're just not looking at things logically. Just like I said yesterday, it's like they took out critical thinking. They took out logic. They don't want people to be that way. They just want people to think what they tell them to think. And it doesn't make any sense. And it's like, with the people doing it aren't questioning it. And just like, all the parents taking their kids to Pride Parade. Why? Why do the kids need to go to Pride Parade? Anybody who's been to Pride Parade, no, it's very provocative. And so now we got all these parents that are taking their kids to Pride Parade. Well, there's no wonder that the drag shows went from drag queens reading library books to coming in and performing for the fucking masses. Like, you go from the red light district to the fucking schools. And another thing too is, I said something about, the problem with the school stuff is, the thing that the people don't want to see is it's time to fucking leave that system. Like, quit thinking that the people are just looking for free babysitters. They just want someone to watch their kids for 8 hours so they can go to work. And the school will provide it. Just give us their psyche, give us their energy, give us the whole fucking thing. And then, so anyways, I had done a video about that, with, the problem, the people keep on trying to go. And somebody said, well, that last one was at a Christian one, and it's like, dude, that is the same fucking thing as government education. Like, the vision for church and state is for our benefit. It's for our fight. It isn't real. Fucking church and state are fucking in bed together. The Vatican, the royal, all of it, they are fucking in bed together. It's ridiculous. It's the same thing as giving a red shirt or a blue shirt. Which cross? You got Jesus on it or you don't have Jesus on it? It's like, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, they just do this shit to get people to fucking divide. And then the people are all just so anxious to divide. And these people who think they're the most progressive, they're out there just, they're bringing everybody in, are just the most hateful, most vile people that are out there. They just come in and tell you, it's like that they are the police to information. How dare you say anything? If they haven't seen it, it doesn't exist. There's this woman who will not stop today. I'm about to fucking block her, but I want to make sure she sees the fucking videos that I did today. That's the other thing. They don't fucking stop. They don't stop. I even, this one woman, she told me that all my whole videos is just drag queens. So I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with sex. I'm a Christian conservative that's obsessed with sex that needs to get off of Fox. And, and I make all these videos about drag queens. And I said, well, maybe I should do a series, because I went on and looked at her thing. I went on and looked at her page. So then I said, well, maybe I should do a series on lonely old judgmental lesbians. I had a couple of other adjectives in there. Lonely, biased, progressive, judgmental, lonely old lesbians. Because when I went on and looked at her videos, she was talking about how she just spends her time in battles with people on social media, on Twitter. And, she's got a chronic illness. And the people who also have chronic illnesses should really not be mean to other people who have chronic illnesses. This lady. And so then she comes back at me. Oh, a lot, I'm a cis woman and I'm married. I said, the fact you call yourself cis is, I don't remember what I said about that, but you know what I think of it. It's ridiculous. And then, and I said, and to sit there and say that because you're married means you're not lonely? Oh, what the fuck? Your fucking videos say she's on the fucking social media all day fighting with people. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm sure you're not lonely at all. You've got so much going on. And then she tells me, that, well, that she's on TikTok for the art. She's on the art videos because she's into art and music. And I said, oh, well, good. I'm glad that you can find some art and music for yourself. I'm an artist, so I live that life. So I was like, God, I was being this is what I'm saying. They'll bring out a part of you that you may not want to see. So don't start arguing with them, because I can be a fucking mean bitch. Like, I'm like, and it's not like I'm trying to be mean or be a bitch, but I'll be honest, and people don't like honesty. People want to have a hidden truth, and I see things, and I'm going to say what I see, and a lot of people don't want to hear it, and most people don't want to hear it, and so, but there's a reason I have vision, and there's a reason I see the things I see, and there's a reason why you cross paths with me, and, and I'm comfortable with triggering people. I know a trigger's a blessing. And so it is, I'm gonna say what I see. And anyways, I don't even know. She just, I'm sure she's still messaging me right now. And I told her, I said, will you please stop? Will you leave me alone? Already now you've interacted with my videos so much. Now I said, please block me. Like, I will block her, but I want to make sure that she sees these videos, because I'm sure after I do this, I'll go back in and and this keeps happening. Yesterday, I think this one guy kind of wanted to start one, because a lot of people come in and try and start one with me. And then they'll come in and start saying rude shit. They'll try and ridicule you and, call you names and stuff like that. But this guy, he came in and he said that he grew up gay in a small town, and there was no gay people, definitely no openly gay people. There was probably gay people, but they weren't openly gay. And because everybody's fear is judgment. And once people start seeing that you keep grouping up together, go stand alone, stand in your own truth of who you are. You don't need a group behind you to give you validity. You're valid because you're you. And so, but people are dependent on groups and, being validated by somebody else. And so he was saying, how he wished that he would have been able to have somebody there for him when he was young and confused. And so I said that, that we're born into situations for us to overcome, so that we can see who we are. And I said, nobody had to be in there telling you who you were. You figured it out on your own, and you got to a point of standing strong in who you are. And I said, that's something to be proud of. That is something, that's the fucking magic in this world. And, and so our conversation went a lot different, and it went really well, and he was like, I am proud of myself, but he did feel bad. He feels bad, but this is something that we're going to see. It's going to be hard. All things where people are going to be grouped together and attacked is going to be hard, because this is going to break free from this group mentality like that, so that we can start identifying each other as individuals and allowing each other to be who we are, and stop trying to restrict and constrict one another, and to just realize, like, if you feel bad around somebody, it's something inside of you, and you probably, if you process it and go through it, you'll probably release it and feel better, and you won't be triggered by this person. And but a lot of people, you're gonna have triggers by the same people over and over, because you have past life situations that are unresolved, and you are blind to certain things. You're not seeing it, so you don't understand some of the pressure that you have between the two of you. And so that is a part of a soul understanding. Soul has got to come into its own, basically, in this situation that's going on. And so, and the breaking free and being able to be yourself is going to be what is going to move it's going to free the world, because everybody spends so much time trying to please somebody, like all these people, I mean, for a Christian to go and break free from the Christians, just like for me, when I broke free from the progressives, that they attack you. And so, all the people who wake up and say, hey, religion's not the thing. God is separate from religion. Religion is a practice that they have got you bound to. And you'll let go of the religion and, take off with God. And the Christians will reject that. It's outside of the narrative. No, you're wrong. You're now worshiping the devil. And so they start going in on the attack. So it's not just like the progress, it's all the different groups, because they develop this group mentality. It's like the government gives them the category or something, that give them the definition. And so then they define themselves. And then anybody who goes against that, it just is the craziest thing, is how the people who want to be accepted the most are the most hateful towards others of being individual. Like, they want to control you, but don't you dare control them. And so it's going to be, the drag queens and the trans people. There's going to be a lot of people that are the group is going to be under attack. And it's going to feel personal for a lot of people. It's going to be hard. I'm telling you, as this stuff is being released, it's going to be hard. It's going to be painful. And people think like it's not going to bother them, but there's going to be a lot of stuff that's being released. It is hard to watch. It's going to be hard to watch, because the people who are healing are gaining empathy. They are gaining insight. They are gaining compassion. And so, and we just got to keep remembering, this is a process. This is a development. This is, somebody coming out of the dark and into the light, and having to see things that they've never seen, and understand things about themselves they've never understood. And so it's going to be hard. It's going to be painful, but there's going to be a lot and some of these groups, like the trans, like what I was saying yesterday, where you have a lot of these unhealed people that they told them everything would be fixed if you just do this. And it doesn't fix what's inside, because until you love yourself, it's not gonna fix anything to, Mr. Potato Head yourself. That's not going to change anything, because it's all inside of you. So what's inside of you has to be healed, and it has to be released. Like, you have to go inside of yourself, and just, it's like you have to go inside of yourself and go through every little crook and crevice and everything to find all of your pain and all of your shame, everything that you hide inside of you. You got to let it go. You got to bring it up and bring it to the surface. And it is very scary to be vulnerable. It's very scary to show yourself when there's so much hate and so much judgment. But as you do the process and you are doing the healing, then it won't hurt you as much. Then you got to change your perspective as you heal and go stand in your own. Is that the people who want to bring you down, it's because they're still so hidden. They haven't found themselves. They are just still part of a group mentality. And the sad thing too is with the group mentality is they won't do anything without a leader. They this has been proven in study after study, that the group will stand back. A group will stand back and, let someone be killed in front of them and not do anything, because they're too scared to be the first one to do something. And so groups need leaders. They need somebody who's willing to take the first step, to look a fool, to stand out. I know that's what I'm here to do. And I didn't realize that that's what I was when I was so ridiculed throughout my life, that I didn't realize that. that, it was because I was the one who was taking the first step, and I'm comfortable in that position. And so I'm comfortable being uncomfortable at this point. And so there's just so many people that hold themselves back so much, and I don't know I don't know what's going on in there. I don't know what is holding people back, but is what they're here to process. It's what they're here in it. And when you trigger somebody, don't feel bad. The trigger is supposed to happen, just like crossing that girl's path out there with that dog. Everything that happens is supposed to happen. And any path you cross, however it is, what you say was supposed to be said. It was supposed to be heard. Don't go home and overthink it and think, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh my God, I can't believe I hurt their feelings. Oh my God. No, that we're at the point where it's going to be hurt feelings are going to get people to really crave change, to get that anger, to boil everything up inside. So don't sit there and overthink like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that, and now they're feeling horrible. I'm telling you, some of the most meaningful, the most growth, and I've talked about this before, some of the most impactful things that were said to me to create growth were hurtful. There were things like, when my sister told me, do something about it, quit talking about it. All you do is whine. I was like, you got to own it. You got to see, like, yeah, fuck, dude. I'm just sitting here going on and on all day, every day. Anybody who talks to me, oh, I can't believe it. Oh, I can't believe I was treated this way. Oh, poor me. Oh, my husband's such an asshole. Whining and crying about, oh, poor me. Someone just listen. How annoying. Who wants to fucking sit and be around somebody who just sit and feeling sorry for themselves all fucking day? Like, and I had to hear it. I had to face it. Like, yeah, Kelly, you're a fucking whiny ass bitch. Like, shut the hell up. So, and it hurt. And I may have resented my sister. I may still resent her. I don't know. She's said a lot of mean things to me, but that's what family is there for. Family is there to push you into growth. There's a reason why the branch, the closer part to the tree, like if you think of the tree of life, of all the souls, the ones that are the closest to the core to you in your orbit are there for a reason. There's not an accident. They're there to push you into being a better person, into facing yourself. And, and that is why, this big movement of cut the people out of your life that make you feel, then, get rid of them, is to keep you stagnant, is to keep you from growing. And, you should, like I have my one daughter and she just keeps cutting more people out. So like, well, why didn't it help just cutting one out? You just keep cutting them out, is because you got to heal what's inside of you. You got to face you. People keep thinking, oh, it's my mom, it's my dad, it's my brother, it's my sister, it's my ex. It's the stuff inside of you. You can't get someone to see it until they see it. And, and to me, when I think of my daughter and how it works, how it ends up, being blamed is because certain situations will bring certain things up in somebody. But, whatever that goes on, you feel a certain way about yourself. And then you go out into the world, and so you make some bad decisions sometimes. And then instead of taking responsibility and facing them because that's what I said, facing yourself is the hardest thing anyone can do. And shame is a horrible fucking beast. And so facing yourself is difficult. It's much easier to say, well, I wouldn't be this way if it weren't for them. It's their fault. It's their fault. It's their fault. I wouldn't be this way if it wasn't for them. And it's like, no, they're there so you can keep bringing that up so that you can release it, because it's inside of you. It's not inside of them. It's inside of you. And so your shame, you'll carry it from life to life to life until you release it. And the shame is your process. It's what happened to you and how you processed your pain, your suffering, your trauma. And that's where people need to learn to forgive themselves. It's a process. It's a growth. It's a development. It is what you're here to do. You're here to go through things so that you can process, so that you, your higher self, can see itself. And so it is the, it is like the, I don't know how, like the, okay, I'll just say this. So it's like the unfolding of the shirt. It's like you unfold the shirt so you can see everything about you. So it is like, I'm telling you, some of the things that they show you and tell you, it's hard. Like, hopefully that just makes sense, because, a shirt looks one way when it's folded up. It looks completely different when you unfold it. And it's like the same thing that you have to do with you, is you have to see what's inside of you so that you can release it. Like if you unfold the shirt, you can get the wrinkles out, the creases. You can see where the stains are. You can see what needs to be fixed. And so it's the same thing with the individual. You have to unfold yourself. You have to release. You have to see everything. But people, they feel shame, and they would rather be a victim, and they'd rather say it's somebody else's fault that I'm this way, instead of saying, these are my reactions that I had to the experiences that I went through. I reacted this way. I began to not feel good about myself. I began to go out and most people end up being used and abused in some way because they don't have a strong self-identity. They are still trying to figure it out. And so that is why you've got to be not judgmental on yourself. And remember, the people who are the most judgmental are about to go into that space. So that super judgmental people are about to go in hard on themselves. And it seems like, yay, it's going to be painful. It's going to be very painful. It's going to be, I can see completely now where they're saying that we're about to go into a very, very hard, chaotic, painful time. And there's going to be a lot of violence, a lot of aggression. And it's for those reasons. It is because people need someone to blame, because they don't want to face themselves. They don't want to see their truth, their true character. And, and there's nothing wrong with being weak. Like, why do you think you have to be a 2-year-old He-Man? Like, you should have known it all by 2 years old. Like, where in the world? Like, how did we ever come to that? We've got to open up learning and growth and allowing people to figure themselves out. People have got to stop putting all this pressure on kids to now be progressive and don't have any identity and all this shit. It's like, it's mental. We've got to give kids an identity. Yes, you're human. Yes, you're born with a penis. Yes, you're born with a vagina. So you're born into an experience automatically. And what you do with that experience is up to you. This is your fucking reality. This is your life. And so, there's boundaries. And I think, when you get someone to really be in touch with their soul, get a child to spend time with themselves in, a meditation practice, yoga, like stuff like that, where they have to get in touch with their mind, body, spirit, and get them to connect with themselves. The rule book's inside. Like I said, I've never needed a Bible to tell me not to kill somebody. Like the messages are inside. And when somebody goes and does stuff like that, it was supposed to happen. It was written. That's what they came for. They did not come here, and it happened by accident. Like, I just was watching that chapter. Like, man, yesterday was rough until that movie. And then as soon as I laid down and watched it, I fell asleep at some point. But yesterday, I can't even, I put on so many things. I was like, Mostly I just listened to music all day and dance. But I didn't paint. I was like, man, I don't know. I was feeling super excited yesterday. I was just like, but I couldn't find things to watch. I get just super distracted sometimes. And so I had put on that chapter. I think I did like, I think that there's something like Mr. Ballin in that chapter. It's kind of weird because, in 2020, when I started going on YouTube all the time and start going in and listening to people's lives and stuff all the time. And that's where I started seeing Mr. Ballin, because he had just went off TikTok and onto YouTube. And that chapter, I just started seeing them. And so it was in that time where I went into quarantine. And so there's something about those two guys that give me some sort of peace, but I can't go and listen to them anymore. But their voices or something, but their stories are always so disturbing. Like, they're so disturbing. I can't believe that. No, man, I don't know. I can't stand to really listen to really disturbing stuff anymore. But the story yesterday was this, I was listening because, when you do go on social media and you do start seeing when you ruffle feathers and stuff and people's reaction, and you don't know how obsessive somebody becomes, because a lot of people are not in a place to release. They get stuck. Like, fuck, we see it everywhere. And so they can be very triggered by people, especially people like me. And so this was a story where she was some TikToker or something, or YouTuber or something, and somebody became obsessed. And so while I was listening to the story, that's all I could see was like, this was a soul contract. None of this stuff happened by accident. There's nothing that happens by accident. Every fucking thing that goes on is meant to happen the way it happens exactly. And when we're sitting here waiting, like thinking that we have some sort of control over time, or, it's got to happen at this day or that day and stuff like that, it has nothing to do with time. We're taking time and we're trying to format it. Time is the actual sequence of events that leads into each experience. And so, and we want to somehow harness it and then complain about it and stuff. And time is a bitch. I mean, we're here to learn some shit from time. It wouldn't be so significant in this reality. So there is a lot to learn by time. And what I have learned is that everything is by divine timing, that everything is destiny, that there is nothing you can do about it. You need to sit back and relax and let things play out. And trying to control it will only frustrate you. And trying to think that it's not working, and that because it didn't do something when you wanted it to, is also a personal problem. And so, people have got to start seeing, you problem, is screaming in my head. And that's what people have got to start seeing. The problem is you, how you're looking at life, how your expectations, what you want. Do you need to control others to feel good about you? Do you need everybody to accept you to feel good about you? Like, and then, do you not accept others? That's the big one. They're so desperate to be accepted, but they don't accept anybody who's not in their group. So it is, but this is going to be the shift. When the shift goes, those kinds of things are what is going to be that people have to work on and face, is their biases. It is all going to come back to them and who they are. And like I said, most people want to blame somebody else, and it is a acceptable thing to do right now, is to blame mom, dad, or an ex as to the source of all your problems. And so, that's something that people have to release, because as long as you're sitting there blaming somebody for your problems, you're never going to get to the problems. You're never going to fix what's broken. You're just going to sit back as a victim and feel like, it's somebody else's fault. And so there's nothing that you need to do to make changes. And then you'll just keep having more things that will keep building up, because until you fix you, until you see that you're the problem that you can fix, that the problems will keep going, because it's here to show you that you've got the problems that you need to fix. They aren't somebody else's problem. They aren't coming from anybody else. And you need to not feel shame for not being perfect. Nobody's perfect. None of us are perfect. We're all just We're all just souls here in a fucking hologram trying to experience what it is like to be around each other and grow and, transform. So, people got to stop thinking this is my one and only life. This is it. And that's all. And got to stop thinking, oh, it's a mistake. Nothing. There's no reason. There's no purpose to life. Like, there's a lot of attitudes, a lot of philosophies that just don't fly. And so a lot of stuff is going to be happening. But like I said, be prepared, because there's a certain somebody who's going to bring attention. And this channel has all been developed, I think, to red pill a certain group of people that are going to come in. And when they come in, they're going to come in hard and they're going to come in strong. So all I'm saying is don't get offended. Like I've said, I think I said a year ago, you've been doing the work, you've been growing, you've been, so don't let these people bring you back. And, walk in your truth, and don't, nobody needs to feel like they need to come in and rescue me from the hateful people. If somebody is too hateful or just hateful, that's all they've got, I'll just block them anyways, and I probably will get a little crazy. Like, I won't probably be able to keep up, but I will definitely, come on and say, I will definitely come on and talk about what I think about what's going on. And I will say what my truth is. And if somebody else's truth is their truth, then they need to go out and speak their truth. Don't come and tell me what I need to speak for your truth. You need to go out there and put yourself out there and speak your truth. Because I'm speaking mine. And if you don't like mine, you can look the other way, or you can just accept me for being me, because I'm not going to stop. So anyways, hopefully, I've motivated you guys to be strong in you, and don't feel shame about who you are ever. We all went through shit, and hiding from it isn't going to make it go away. We've all gone through things that, have humiliated us, have made us feel dirty, made us feel shameful. We've all been through it. And so, a lot of people don't want to face, what got them there. And just face it and release it. It's like fucking release the demons, let them go, empty the closet. Like, life will become so much better when you can fly free and be you. Life can be fun, and that's what we want to turn this into, having fun in life, not all this fucking chaos and arguing and fighting and control. And, it's disgusting. Even to the point where these controllers want to, starve us out, and, we can't have fresh air, we can't have fresh water. And, there's some indigenous groups that are out there, who have been saying, hey, we've been going through this long enough. And, because we're at the time of change. And we're going to see all of this stuff is going to change. We're going to get to see justice. And justice is going to be tough for a lot of people, because a lot of people don't realize, like, there's people who are married to some sketch people. And they don't, anyone who is found to be associated with certain crimes, it's not going to be good. And a lot of people who were involved with people, they don't know all the people they're involved with. And it's going to be shown. And I think that some people are going to be surprised. So anyways, this is going to be tough times, as we go through this purging. And just keep in mind that, anything that affects you is for your healing. And that everything that you do for yourself is moving us forward. Even if it feels like, oh, I'm not doing much, I'm just, trying to be a better person, that's moving us all forward. So don't minimize anything you do. Every little fucking thing you do. Opening a door for somebody at this time is a fucking huge thing. So just going out there, being kind, having a smile on your face, just the energy of love is going to ripple out into the rest of the people. And so, just like how I said, how the psychic message can come in, it's like the energy will carry it into a thought bubble. So you know, just realize that you're putting out thought bubbles everywhere you go. So be mindful of what you're thinking, and stay kind. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.